guys, welcome to today's video and thank you for watching. So financial literacy and trying to improve your knowledge on managing money and wealth creation is so important, which is why in today's video we're going to be talking about one of the books that changed how I think about wealth creation and investing in general. I read The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and honestly, the key principles covered in this book is so important if you're someone who is very serious about wealth creation. So in today's video, I'll be breaking down some of the key lessons I learned from reading The Psychology of Money. If you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below and what you think about the book in general. As usual guys, please remember that anything I say on my channel is not financial advice, as I'm not a financial advisor. This is more for education and entertainment purposes only. So without wasting much time, let's get into the video. One of the key lessons in this book is that building wealth is not just about luck, but it's about developing strong financial habits. So in this book, Morgan Housel talks a lot about the importance of developing consistency and discipline when you're trying to build wealth. The book talks about a lot of key principles in wealth creation, such as maintaining a monthly budget, staying consistent in investing at least 10% of your income, and also investing for the long run. Consistency is so important in wealth creation because if you're able to manage your money on an average income and you're very frugal and disciplined on an average income, it means that as your income increases, you're able to maintain those strong financial habits that you need to be able to build wealth. And that is because you're less likely to give into lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep simply means that as you earn more money, there's even more temptation for you to spend more and increase your lifestyle. So it might be that as you earn more money, you want a nicer car, a bigger house, a more lavish lifestyle, more holidays, private school for the kids. The list goes on and on and on. And it simply means that as your income increases, your expenses also increases. But actually, if you already have those strong financial habits such as saving at least 10% of your income, investing wisely, sticking to a monthly budget, these financial habits are so important because it will help you build wealth wisely. The next lesson in this book is plan on your plan, not going according to plan. Yes, I know that's a mouthful, but I'll break it down in this video. So essentially, the book talks about the importance of financial planning and also having a backup plan. So for instance, plan A can be that you get paid at the end of every month, and from your income you have a set amount set aside for your monthly expenses, your savings, and your investing. But think about what would happen if you were to lose your job, or God forbid your income was to reduce in the month. That is where plan B comes into action. Plan B can be things like your sinking funds or your emergency funds. Sinking funds are where you create small savings pots to be able to save for those occasional expenses that might come out through the year. It can be saving up for things like holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. These small savings pots called sinking funds means that you are more prepared financially, and it should be part of your financial planning. I also think that as part of your backup plan, it's so important to consider having an emergency fund. So you need an emergency fund for those unexpected life emergencies that might come up. Say God forbid the car was to break down, or you have some kind of unexpected expenses in the month. Emergency funds help you cover those expenses and can potentially stop you from going into debt. And ideally, you need to aim to have at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a high-yield savings account or a cash ISA. And it's so important because it helps you stay more prepared and can potentially help prevent you going into debt in the long run. Another thing I think is so important as part of your financial planning is the importance of having essential insurance policies in place. So I'm talking about things like your life insurance, your home insurance, your car insurance, income protection as well, because these are all the things that give you extra financial cushion. Essentially, life is so unpredictable and there are so many factors that are outside of your control that can easily affect your finances. But the more prepared you are financially and the more backup plans you have, it improve your chances of being able to create wealth. One of the chapters in this book is titled The Man in the Car Paradox. And in this chapter, the book talks about the man in the shiny car who is more interested in keeping up with the Joneses, in showing off his lavish lifestyle, his high income, and impress other people by having a very expensive shiny car, which I think is quite interesting because a lot of times it's very easy to give into lifestyle inflation and trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know, as soon as your income increases, there's that tendency to do things to show off to other people that you're doing well financially. But actually, trying to to keep up with the Joneses can keep you poor in the long run, which is why the book talks about the importance of buying assets, focusing on wealth creation instead of trying to buy luxury and expensive things just to impress other people. The next lesson from this book is saving money. And in this chapter, just like the name implies, the author talks about the importance of saving aggressively and basically explains that past a certain level of income, people fall into three main categories: those who save money, those who think that they cannot save money, and those who think that they don't need to save money. The book basically illustrates that building wealth has very little to do with how much you earn, but it's actually more about your savings rate. Therefore, if you have a high savings rate, in the long run, you're able to build wealth. One of the quotes I love from this book is that you can build wealth without a high income, but you cannot build wealth without a high savings rate. And that is because the more you're able to save and invest, the more you're able to build wealth. Imagine someone earning £4,000 per year and they're able to save and invest just 10% of their annual income, which would be £4,000 per year. And I know that it might not sound like a lot of money, but with consistency over time, that £4,000 per year is able to grow through compound interest, compared to someone who earns £80,000 per year but doesn't save and invest at all. In the long run, the person on a low income is still able to build wealth over time because they are consistently saving and investing, even though they are on a low income. And that is so important when you're trying to build wealth. Maintaining that consistency through saving and investing monthly, ensuring you have the right direct debit in place to your investment account as soon as you get paid every month, is so important to build wealth. Which brings me to the last lesson from this book, and that is time is your biggest asset when it comes to investing. The book basically talks about the importance of starting small, staying consistent when it comes to investing, and focusing on long-term growth to be able to maximize your returns on investing. It explains how compound interest works in your favor, because even small investments as simple as £50 to £100 a month can make a big difference. So imagine in the first year you invest £5,000 and you earn an interest of just 10%, which would be £500. At the end of that first year, you would have £5,500. But in the second year, you'll be earning interest on £5,500. And that's assuming you don't add any more money, which would mean that you're able to earn a higher interest in the second year. And that is how compound interest works, because you earn interest on not just the money that you invested, but also on the interest that has accumulated over time. If you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I'm quite curious to see what you think of this book. Let me know what you think about this video as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Share this video with someone who will find this helpful as well. And I'll see you in the next one.